Brace yourself, this might be uncomfortable. We're going to have a look at what happens when you leave 2 boxes of vinyl records up in a loft in hot and damp conditions for about 20 years. Here's the first box. Look at the state of that. Here's the second box. These marks where it was put up against the red one. So we're going to go through some of these records and transfer them into a new box, which is this cheap but relatively fancy one I got off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description box. Okay, to tell the truth, me and my wife have actually gone through these because they're our records, and I thought it might be nice to go through it with her. And to be honest, I was surprised how well these records have fared. So I'm not going to go through this could be a what's in my box video, but what the plan is, I'm going to sift out the ones that I want to listen to. I'm going to put those in this box, and also I'm going to make use of the cardboard box that new box arrived in, and then I can clean up because I want to keep these 2 vinyl. They're actually made of plastic vinyl. I want to keep these 2 record boxes, but they're covered in about 20 years of condensation. We've got a very shallow loft, in other words it's not very deep, and because the pitch isn't at a steep angle, the condensation from the hot and damp house in the winter gets on the lining underneath the roof itself and just drips down on everything. And then I'd got these out on a really hot day in June, and it was absolutely sweltering in the loft. And in the winter months it's really cold because we've got the bottom of the loft is lined with insulation, so very little of the heat escapes into the loft area. This is not a good way to store your records, but surprisingly they seem to have come out quite well. Now the problem is it's really hard to get these records in shot. So that's from the 90s, that's Yaz. It's really hard to find an angle where I can shoot and still get some audio for you. So that's one of my wife's records. We used to listen to that a lot on cassette in our car back in the day. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a different mic and a different phone so I can move around and still have a lapel mic on. Right, let's see how this goes then. Right, this is a compilation album, and I've listened to a few compilation albums lately, and I find I don't really like them because a lot of the tracks I'm not that keen on, and you can't easily skip them on a turntable. Not on the Soundburger, which is quite hard to move the stylus on your records. Great voice, this guy. This I think is quite popular with the kids nowadays, believe it or not. This is why I like records, because you get this massive, which I can't even show you, this massive gatefold piece of artwork. And although you get your little booklets with CDs, and you get nothing with streaming, that's upside down. It's nice to sit back and actually have a look at one of these on an album or a record that you haven't seen for quite a while. The Muppet Show. War of the Worlds, that's classic. I heard a story that this was broadcast on national radio without any warning that it was actually an act. And some people thought it was real. Back in the days where you got most of your news from radio, people thought it was real. I think that is a bit of punk from the 80s. Not sure I should show that really. It could be mods. Mods, skinheads, no, yeah. So that must be mods, I guess. Adamant, later famous for adamantium. So far they've been my wife's records largely. This is one of mine. I still play some of these tracks on streaming sometimes, so I'll give that a listen. I think it's a 12-inch and Hollies. Wow, proper, looks like a 7-inch in a 12-inch box. It's nothing fancy. Now, is that the one I think it is? That's a 12-inch. I could give that a listen as well. Yeah, I think that's a 12-inch as well, and I think I've actually got the 12-inch on one of my playlists. Yeah, there you go. So I'll give that a listen. Oops, nearly lost one. Look at that. Look at that. There's no bow at all in there. So these have been up in that loft for so long, in hot and cold conditions depending on the time of year, yet they've been crammed in these cassette boxes, sorry, in these record boxes quite tightly, and I think that's what saved them. They obviously have not been susceptible to liquids, despite the fact it could have dripped down on the edges. They've not got wet inside. And despite the temperature changes, the covers in these are almost like exactly the same as they were when we put them in there, when we put them in the loft 20 years ago. Ah, this is classic. I know I've got a couple of Depeche Mode fans. And who was it? I wonder if I can remember their name. Absolute Depeche Mode fanatic. And this is an original. My wife actually went to school with one of the members of the band. Look at that. That takes me back. And if you're new to vinyl, this is the way you should put your records in. So there's an inside sleeve, and you put that with the opening up the top, then you slide it in the side of the album cover. And that way, as you pull it out, the record doesn't fall out. Doesn't fall out of here. Okay, so we've got a compilation. Let's have a quick look at what's on the back. That's record 1, side A and side B. And that's record 2. So what I might do, rather than listen to the actual double album and then have to listen to or skip a lot of tracks I don't like, I might just find those tracks on the streaming service. Oh, look at that though, isn't that fantastic? Gives you a little bit of background to the artist for each of the tracks. House Hits, that'll be late 80s I think. Another double album. The History of House. See, I might listen to that as I read through this sort of gatefold cover. Look at that needle. I said needle in one of my videos, and someone said if you call it a needle, it shows you're a noob. Well, needle was the word we used to use. If you're an OG vinyl lover. More hits, so that's early 80s. In actual fact, this is the 27th of June I'm shooting this, and on the 25th of June would have been George Michael's 60th birthday. God, these are some proper early 80s stuff here. Yeah, I might actually give that one a listen as well. So that one's a little bit later, it's probably towards the end of the 80s. Oh yeah, look, 1989. Don't even remember this one. That's a bit sticky, I think it's just been crammed in there. That says Mars, but it looks like Dixie's Midnight Runners. Oh, Mars, that was Put the Needle on the Records. Just talking about needles. Hits 4. This is going to be sort of backwards, I think. So this is like a series of hits compilations that came out probably a couple of times a year, I would guess. No dates on them. There's hits 2. That looks... Oh yeah, Dead or Alive, King, good stuff. Might listen to that one. Hits 3. What's in the middle of these ones? Have a look. Oh. Don't judge a book by its cover, but let's have a quick look around. Nope, not bothered. Not a good track. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah. That one's going in the box for storage. I've got 5. Oh, word, shut your mouth. Not Shaking Stevens though. I think this was, my guess is these were popular more in America. Oh, 5-star. I remember listening to a 5-star cassette I did, and I used to listen to my Panasonic, which I think I might have shown on a video at one point, but it's broken and can never be fixed. Soft Cell. Fantastic voice. Unfortunately, this record case has seen better days. It's falling out the bottom there, look. This is a weird one. I am not a Bond fan, I must admit. We're recording, yeah. Yeah, some of these, the glue has gone on these, so I'm going to need to be... I think, what do you think I should do? I think I could just repair those by putting some double-sided sticky tape on those. Or I could inform my wife, because they're her records, and I could just find, they sell PVC sleeves that you can slip the whole thing in. But what I'm worried about is PVC breaks down, and some of the gases that come off of some plastics might attack other plastics, and that's what I'm worried about. And quite honestly, I think there's a load of tosh spoken about collecting your records and keeping them in the best condition. Don't know what the heck that is. And actually my wife is going to go and see Shawaddy Waddy in concert. My wife and her daughter. My wife and our daughter. Look at that. W.H. Smith's, £1.59. I think she was robbed. But yeah, they're playing, so my wife's going to go see them. I declined politely. Yeah, well, we're going back to the 70s now. My wife was saying that these are her albums. Look at that, 65p. And these, actually, I hated the 70s. Anything to do with the 70s I wasn't interested in. But these actually weren't the original artist. So you bought these, and nowhere on here does it say that these are covers, but they're actually all covers of the actual records. And I don't like covers. In the same way I don't like karaoke. Now, can you put that on an album cover nowadays? Can I put that on YouTube? That's a good question. I mean, it is historical. It is of historical value, but I'm completely rubbish at bluing anything out. So yeah, so this is the 70s all over. Completely irrelevant to what it is, unless she's one of the dancers, I guess. So that's it for the first box. Let me have a sort out and then we get onto the box, which is primarily my records. Right, this one should contain more of my records, but that is not one of my records. "12-inch single, Searching." What a brilliant song. I was about to sing it then. Brilliant song. So 12-inch, definitely worth having a... Oh, Change of Heart as well. Good song, not as good as the first one. Oh, what? Look. I wrote this on there. I did a bit of DJing, not a lot, and I was rubbish at it. Short intro, 650 to fade. There's a little bit of my history. Brilliant. These are my wife's as well. Good record, that. But I really got bored at the end with Stockade and Waterman. It was like manufactured pop. First manufactured pop, really. Or it sort of took over and everything was the same. Good for the clubs we worked in at the time, though. We're going to get to some really weird ones that... That's my wife's. Going to get to some really weird ones in a little while, I think. So these are the original hits by the original stars, not mine. But Reet Petite, A Wonderful World and Lean On Me, they were all very big in the, I think it was late 80s, early 90s, something like that. All of these made the charts again, or they were sampled and got in, or they were covered and got in, but these are the original ones. I might give that a listen, even though it's not mine. Listen to some classics. There we go, 1986 re-recording, Shout by Lulu. God, they go mental. We worked in a pub that was always really busy, and that would make people go mental when you put that on when everyone had had a few to drink. This is one of my favourite records from the DJ days that me and my mate did. Funny enough, this is on one of my, this is in my 450 track YouTube music faves list. Madonna 12-inch Like a Virgin. Stay on the B-side. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. It's probably my wife's. This is definitely my wife's. What a handsome chap, eh? Not a patch on me, of course. 12-inch single, $1.99. This one's mine. Big Police fan. I think I've got everything the Police ever produced, but I wasn't a fan of their early stuff. I wasn't really a mod. I really wasn't anything actually back in those days. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that. I wonder if that's got. No, it's a shame that's not. Oh, it's got some information on the sleeve. Is that? What's that? Yeah, what's going on here? Let's have a look at that. That feels really thick. Oh, it's just the words. This is not mine. I would rather be deaf than listen to that. Sorry, Lena. Blondie. God, we went to see Blondie in concert. Oh man, I remember these. I think we'll have to give that a listen. This one definitely isn't mine. I'm not a fan of Elvis Presley. One of the few really who isn't. Yep, definitely before my time, and I really didn't enjoy the 60s. It was out of date by the time I get into music. Brilliant, brilliant in the clubs, this one. God, I like that really simple album cover. Well, it's actually a 12-inch, but you know what I mean. Sting, I've got a lot of what Sting did. I've got most of what Sting did in, you know, his sort of through the 90s, I guess. Then he got, it's not that I think this is a bad thing, but he got really into his music. I know that sounds a bit weird, but he left the pop scene and started getting really into things like folk and weird, what do they call them? Beats per minute and stuff like that. And he got really into the creation and the different types of more obscure music, and which didn't really appeal to me. I liked his more poppy stuff. But I've got loads of his CDs. I've got pretty much every CD he produced in the, I think it was the 90s. Definitely getting a bit more poppy now. Got to get down to our price, $4.99, top 60 album. I might give that a listen, you know. So here we go. Here's Janet's slightly more famous brother. And I think actually this belongs to my wife. Look at that, that's fantastic. Can I get it in shot? Definitely worth listening to. Oh, Hue and Cry. I Refuse is one of my favourite tracks even now. So this, I think, is this a 12-inch? Yeah, I think it is. 12-inch, Looking Out for Linda. Brilliant. I'll listen to that. Gloria Estefan, not mine. The Pasadenas. Oh man, I can't remember now. I'm just waving these in front of the camera. I don't know whether you can see any of it. Moving on to the Beatles. Not my thing. Didn't really like the Beatles. This is like a compilation of their works. Early works in the red, later works in the blue. This is a 12-inch as well. I think I'll listen to that. Goodness gracious me. I was quite into Rick Astley. It reminds, tell you what, this time reminds me, I worked in a bank in the, I'm not going to tell you when, I worked in a bank for a couple of years, and this is the sort of thing that we'd buy I'd probably buy it, and then we'd play it in the car. You know, we'd put it on a cassette. I need to burn it. We put it on a cassette, play it in the car on the way home, or if we were going out for a drive. This is sort of thing as well. I think this is 90s too, early 90s, late 80s. That's $6.99 at our price. This one's not mine, but pretty good track all the same. I think that is a... oh, that's an album, so... it's a disco... derived from disco, and I'm not really into that. Phil Collins, soundtrack of Buster. Not my kind of music, my wife's record. He always seemed out of tune to me, but I really liked his stuff from time to time. Oh my god. Ross. Nothing to do with Super Mario. I've actually run out of room in the cardboard box now, so John Denver has made a bit of a second appearance because I need more space to put some records down. And these are still in their plastic sleeves, which is nice to see, so they're in pretty good condition. Not that they're valuable at all, but now 10. Yeah, looking at the bands that are on that, I'll probably give that a listen. That I'll skip, that I'll listen to, that I'll listen to, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll listen to that. Yeah, it's good enough for me. I'll give that a listen as well. Deacon Blue, what a brilliant band, actually. See, that's the sort of thing I could listen to while, again, looking on Wikipedia or something. In fact, if you look on YouTube Music, if you call up the album on YouTube Music, it might have a snippet, maybe from Wikipedia or somewhere else, about what the band, who they were they members of previous bands and that sort of thing, and maybe a little bit of information about that particular album. Yep, especially like those two at the top. Pretty good stuff. You can be listening to them. Now, I was really into Rick Astley, but I'm not so much into it now. Again, it was, I think, Stock Aitken and Waterman. As I said earlier on, I really sort of fell out of love with their stuff. It got a bit samey towards the end. But he was like, oh my god, it was massive back in the day. And I really did enjoy his stuff. Oh, there's some really weird stuff we're going to come to in a minute. Ghostbusters. I remember mixing this on decks. I used to mix this with Thriller. They were very similar tempo. And you could mix them together quite well when they were a similar theme as well. Transvision Vamp. God, I don't remember. This might be my wife's. I'm always looking for something new to get back into, so I'm going to give that a listen. Malcolm McLaren. I don't think he did too well apart from this one single. I think this is the new dance mix. 8 minutes 40 seconds, so that's probably quite cool to listen to. Luther Vandross, not my thing. Brilliant artist, but not something I'd listen to. Bobby Brown, that was pretty good. Good track, that one. So that's 12-inch again, I think. 10 City. Put these down. Yeah, I didn't like Queen at the time, but I've got more of an appreciation from them now, and I do like watching their Live Aid stuff. I think that was 1985. Their concert stuff, absolutely brilliant showman, brilliant band, but I'm not that keen on some of their tracks. Some of the faster ones, yeah, I'm okay. Bohemian Rhapsody, I can take or leave that one. Good track there, not so interested. That I wouldn't really have been interested, Fat Bottom Girls, but I can appreciate it a bit more now. So I might give some of those a listen actually. Oh god, I played this one to death. Bill Withers, brilliant, brilliant song. That's a 12-inch as well. 12-inch gold. Oh right. And now we get into the strange and slightly embarrassing part of my record collection. I was really into Musical Youth in the 80s. I don't know why. Because clearly we don't have a lot in common. I was nowhere near cool. But there was something about their music that I really liked. And I liked it well enough to spend some of my limited money on some of their albums. What's this here? I never liked him enough to put this up on the wall, but look at that. Heavens above. Brilliant. Now the problem is with this sort of thing is I will play this. Oh my god, I forgot about this. I will play this and the memories will come flooding back from the time when I used to listen to their stuff. But if I play it too much, I'm going to start associating this music with modern times. And I don't want to lose that nostalgia and those memories from when it was. You don't get Musical Youth played a lot at the moment on anything really. I think it made one of my mini discs. One of their tracks made one of my mini discs once. So that's the sort of thing I will play and enjoy, but not very much, because I want those records to be associated with the memories of the time, and I haven't listened to it since then. And if I listen to it too much, there's another one there, then I won't have those memories associated with that time. Brilliant. Oh, I think this is a 12-inch actually. Yeah, God, I can remember the lyrics to it. Let's go to the moon. I would not put you through that. I'm not going to sing it. Ah, Velveteen. Ah, who are these? Who are these? Oh, that's the album name. So it's Transvision Vamp. So I think, I cannot remember. I think this is probably my wife's, but I've already put one in the box to listen to, so I'm going to add that too, just in case I like it. This is Yaz. Brilliant hair, look at that style, jeez, brilliant. I'll probably listen to that, it's only a 12-inch, so it's not going to take long. Oh, and Holly Johnson. Loft. I didn't really like this album, I think I bought it, but didn't really like it. But why not, I'm going to give it a listen again. So that's it for this video. This is the records that I managed to get, that I could get easily from my loft. There might be some more up there, but my loft is very difficult to access, and these ones I could actually get to without actually climbing and crawling into the loft on a really hot June day. What I'm going to do now is go off, put my gloves on and get my cleaning stock out and see if I can save these boxes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.